They'll tell you compact flagships are dead, but I'm here to say otherwise. If you want a small phone that can do it all, these two are at the top of the list, and today we're going to decide a winner. So let's talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and straight away these two phones are true compact flagships. Remember that Zenfone 10 that everyone talked about being the last of its type? Yeah, no, these two phones are practically the same size, but with bigger displays thanks to the smaller bezels. They're easier to operate thanks to their small size, they fit in pockets better than their larger counterparts too, and they're also a little more affordable at the expense of screen size and of course battery capacity. Between the two though, you will have to pay more for the Samsung. Since release, Google has dropped the 8's pricing and it's currently at $550 for the base 128GB model, with double the storage costing about $60 more. The pricing is a full $250 less than Samsung's offering, which by comparison puts it in almost a different price class. For some perspective, Google's own flagship Pixel 8 Pro currently lists for less than the base S24. And the phones certainly don't look or feel $250 apart. We're treated to glass and metal sandwiches on both, with robust feeling, dense builds as well. The S24 comes in a good 10% lighter with its flatter sides and shallow camera rings compared to the Pixel 8's rounded size and tall camera bar that tends to snag a little easier on trouser pockets. Both are IP68 rated, offer wireless charging and have nice clicky buttons, but I found the S24's ultrasonic fingerprint reader to just be a little more accurate than the optical unit found in the Pixel 8. But atop those scanners you will find 6.2-inch Full HD Plus 120Hz AMOLED screens on both, so on paper they are very similar. In person you'll find the Galaxy screen is noticeably brighter when you dip into the settings and enable the extra brightness toggle. This lifts all the highlights in HDR content and makes the screen as a whole just more viewable in direct sunlight. Though I must say neither phone really struggles in this situation, as they are two very bright displays. Both are flat panels too, which I love to see because I feel like on smaller phones, especially smaller phones even, you really don't need curved sides. But if you do want to make use of their 120Hz refresh rates, you'll be better off with the Galaxy S24's performance chops. Even the slightly less potent Exynos model that I have here and that most of Europe will get is substantially stronger and speedier than the Pixel 8's processor. Darting around the OS, the S24 feels a hair more responsive, though both phones are pretty zippy right now. It's more when you jump into 3D games where performance deltas start to really emerge and show themselves, with the Galaxy providing a smoother and more consistent gaming experience across the board. Though let's face it, if you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably not going to be picking a compact device like these two, as the on-screen controls can really get in the way. And of course the lesser battery life compared to the full-size counterparts makes them not ideal for gaming. Because neither of these is a comfortable 2-day phone for me. I've had 2 days out of both on very quiet days in the right conditions, but on the regular you'll want to top them up at night. I'll be honest, the charging isn't rapid on either. The Pixel 8 just edges the S24 in top-up times by a couple of watts in both wired and wireless form, though the flip side of that is just the Samsung tends to last longer on a charge. This is mostly in screen off and standby time, where I found the Pixel to actually be kind of shocking. I'm sure you'll all be waiting to hear about how the cameras perform and stack up against each other, and on paper they're pretty similar, with the Pixel 8 sporting the bigger primary sensor but the S24 having the extra lens in the form of a 3x zoom, and the option to record 8K video where the Pixel is capped at Ultra HD 4K 60 with no video boost to speak of. That is only for the Pro model. And in practice, these cameras go back and forth quite a lot, and really what you're seeing are two different approaches to the colour science. While the Pixel 8 has a more natural set of colours and contrast, with what I'd call the more accurate white balance most of the time, Samsung's setup provides really punchy and vibrant images, seemingly regardless of what's actually happening in person. On the surface, I actually prefer the S24's images here, as sure they might not be quite as accurate, but they certainly stand out and are fun to look at. I also found Galaxy S24's camera app to just be a little more responsive with the quicker shutter press, so it really helps out when you need to take a snap in a pinch. The Pixel can sort of hang a little bit. And I'm sure it will come as no surprise to anyone that the phone that has the dedicated zoom is better at taking zoomed in images. The Pixel just can't keep up with the Galaxy, as the latter's dedicated telephoto lens comes into its own here and delivers crisper and cleaner long-range shots in pretty much every single scenario. But what is more surprising to me is that these two devices trade blows a lot when it comes to the portrait mode, as I thought for sure that the Pixel would just get the cleaner cutout most of the time. But this wasn't the case, and actually in a lot of these shots, I thought the S24 did the effect better, whether it came to human subjects or objects, which can usually throw out portrait modes on lesser devices. And in video, you end up with a similar set of differences to what the photos look like, with the Samsung footage coming out punchier, with maybe a tendency to expose a tad lower than the Pixel does, with both in their Ultra HD 4K 60fps modes slowed down by half to fit this timeline. I think they both look really solid, and actually I wouldn't bother with the 8K mode on the S24. The Ultra HD is just that good. Thankfully, both phones do give you options to augment your shots with AI tools after the fact. Galaxy AI and Magic Eraser are pretty similar, though neither have a 100% hit rate, of course. They do a great job when they do work and actually are quite useful to have. Of course, Audio Eraser on the Pixel comes in clutch when you have a lot of background noise in video captures, and the Galaxy doesn't have an equivalent on its device natively, so the Pixel's toolkit is currently the stronger of the two. Both of these things are rocking Android 14, with the new version of Android right around the corner, and both Samsung and Google claim to be committed to offering software updates and platform upgrades in particular going into 2030, which makes both phones solid investments if you only upgrade your phone every 5 or so years. It also makes them better options on the second-hand market, where the current owners might inevitably list their phones on eBay when they plan to upgrade to the next phone. And I'm a big advocate for reuse and the used smartphone market as a whole, so this is great to see. It's also fantastic to see that in 2024 you can go out and buy a flagship smartphone that isn't huge, and these two are terrific examples of that. Both offer great build quality, solid screens, and superb software too. Google's Pixel 8 does give you that slight extra quality in the main camera, I'd say, whereas the Galaxy S24 provides a slightly better battery life, substantially better performance, and a higher max screen brightness. It's also a smidge more compact if you really want a little pocket powerhouse. At launch MSRP, the Galaxy S24 is just the better phone, especially going forward, where a faster phone now practically guarantees you better speed going long term. However, there being a $250 difference between these two kind of complicates things. The S24 is the objectively better device, but the Pixel 8 is $550, and that's a steal, especially something to consider if you want one of the best Android handsets in the smallest of packages. Let me know what you think about these two guys. I think the Pixel 8 is a terrific device, and I've seen some killer deals for it in the last couple of months, but the S24 is just objectively the better one. While you're down there, consider hitting like if you enjoyed today's content, and subscribe if you're new around here to never miss another video like this one. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.